Welcome to the Team Ottawa podcast. I'm Sam LaPrade, and I'm here with Mayor Mark Sutcliffe. How are you, Mayor?
I'm doing great. How are you, Sam?
Good. There's lots of people heading off on vacation
Yep.
and doing all those great
Canada
family
Day
things.
is coming.
Canada Day. I love Canada.
I love Canada Day. I remember when I was a kid, and my parents and my sister and I would go downtown and be on the lawn of Parliament Hill for the noon hour ceremony. That was always great. Then we'd go to the fireworks, and then bring in my own kids.
Yeah.
And then when I was a radio host, I used to do a show on Canada Day every year from right across from Parliament Hill.
Excellent.
With our mutual friend Shelley McLean.
Yes.
And that was always a blast. So, and this year might be my busiest Canada Day ever, because I am going to be going to a lot of different events. And we host a breakfast for seniors in the morning. And then there's all these different events in the community. People think of, Ottawa, Canada Day, they think of the downtown stuff, but there's events all over the city on Canada Day. So I'm going to get to as many of them as I can between 8 o'clock in the morning and 11 o'clock at night.
We definitely do Canada Day beautifully in this city.
It's great.
For sure.
It's the best place in the world to be on July the 1st.
Absolutely. And there's some good news. People heading from the west to Canada Day, if they're heading downtown.
Or any other day.
Exactly. Any other day. There's some good news about the 417, sort of between Woodruff and Pinecrest.
Yep.
It was a little frustrating for some commuters, but you've got some good news.
Yeah, this is, I'm well aware of how frustrating it was for residents going east and west on the 417 in the West End, because there was a lane closure for some work that had to be done. And I experienced that many, many times when I was going out to events in Kanata or Stittsville, or headed to the 416 to go south. It was a real bottleneck. And it was going to be that way for a long time. But I asked city staff to take another look at the plan and to work with the provincial government to try to get the work done faster. And last Monday, we reopened all the lanes on the 417 between Pinecrest and Woodruff, and we did that more than 5 weeks ahead of schedule. So I'm happy about that. I think we all accept that work has to get done from time to time, and things need to be replaced, and you've got to close some lanes sometimes to repave them or to do some other work that needs to be done. It's the price of progress, right? And summer is a better time to do it than spring or fall, because there's fewer cars on the road, but it's still very frustrating when it happens. But to be able to get it done 5 weeks ahead of schedule is, I think, great work by the team at the city, working with the province. And so I'm relieved that bottleneck has been alleviated and some of that frustration has gone away. But we are going into construction season here, and there are going to be other lane closures and other things going on, but that's all in the name of improving our city, repaving our roads, fixing our sidewalks, expanding some roads. And in the long run, it'll be worth it, but it's always short-term pain for long-term gain.
The price of progress is what I'm going to remember as I tour around the city, for sure. I'd like to talk about a very serious issue, and I know that you've mentioned before that this issue is the issue you receive the most feedback on, and that is your pledge to end youth homelessness by 2030. There have been some developments.
Yeah, this is really important work. And as a father of two teenagers, and you have a daughter who's in post-secondary now, right? So, thinking about our kids, and I think about how lucky my kids are that they have a safe place to stay every night. And not every child, not every youth in our community has that. And that's not acceptable. We have to work hard to solve this issue. And fortunately, there are a lot of people in the community now who are committed to supporting this objective and doing the work that it will take to achieve this goal. So we had a meeting last week with our champions table for this objective of ending youth homelessness by 2030. Some great people at that meeting, leaders from the community, business leaders, philanthropic leaders, social service organizations, the people who are doing the work, the people who are raising the money. And it was a great way to advance our objective. And I think people are starting to feel like this is, while it's an ambitious goal, that it is an achievable goal if we keep working together. And I feel like my job is just to keep bringing the right people together and making sure they have the resources they need and the plan they need to get it done. And I feel like we've got some momentum now. So I'm really excited.
And we hear from people in the social services, they've never seen everyone sort of coming together for one goal like this before. It really has really brought a community together.
Yeah, it's interesting. And I know you know this from the work that you've done in the community, that one of the dynamics that occurs sometimes, and it's unfortunate, is, everybody's off working on their own thing. And that's all good. They're all doing great work. But it's like a bunch of musicians who are each playing their instruments and playing a different song, and nobody's kind of bringing them together as an orchestra and then conducting, the group. So I think this is an opportunity where we've been able to bring everybody together and get them working harmoniously together to achieve a common objective.
For sure. I just want to talk a little bit about a term that I've heard only recently, and that is level 0. What does that mean?
Level 0 is when there's no paramedics available in our city. And we just had a report come to City Council a few days ago, and it's really good news. I remember when I was talking to people in 2022, when I was running for mayor, they were concerned about the fact that, we were hearing about this all the time, level 0 events that were happening almost on a daily basis in Ottawa, where if you were to call an ambulance in Ottawa, there would not be one available. And the reason for that is it's a bunch of things, but the biggest factor was the fact that when two paramedics, go to see a patient and collect them in their home or at some other location, and they bring them to the hospital, they have to wait with them at the hospital until a patient is admitted into hospital. And sometimes that can take 5 hours, 6 hours, 7 hours. Those paramedics are not allowed to go back into the community. They have to stay in the hospital, because you can't leave the patient unattended.
Right.
So we've worked with the hospitals on reducing the offload times. We've hired 140 new paramedics in the last 3 years. We've instituted a new dispatch system. There's a lot of other pieces to this. They've done great work at the Ottawa Paramedic Service. And the good news is we've reduced level 0 events by 99% over the last 4 years. So to just to put that in perspective, in 2022, there were 73,000 minutes when there was no ambulance available in Ottawa. That works out to 3 hours and 20 minutes per day on average. 3 hours and 20 minutes per day, averaged out over the whole year where there wasn't a paramedic available. Now, there's less than 3 minutes per day. It's about 2 minutes per day where there isn't an ambulance available in Ottawa. That's still not acceptable. We want that to be 0, but 2 minutes is a lot better than 3 hours and 20 minutes where there's no ambulance available in our city.
Especially if your loved one is waiting for care, for sure. Another term that we've heard recently is ANCHOR, and I know it's an acronym, but walk me through ANCHOR.
This is a great program, and I'm really excited about the fact that we're expanding it. So when you picture somebody having a mental health crisis or a toxic drug issue in our community, and a bystander observes that and calls for help. In the past, people would call 911, and a police officer would normally be the first person dispatched to that situation. We came up with a pilot project that we started almost 2 years ago now in Centertown, and some great people got behind this project. And instead of calling 911, you can call 211 now. And instead of a police officer being dispatched and looking at it through the lens of public safety, we're able to send a highly trained crisis response worker who is looking at it in terms of how we can provide care to this individual and provide some solutions and get them into whatever treatment or other response that they need. So it's a great solution because it's supplementing the work that's already being done. It's a more appropriate solution, and it also leaves a police officer free to go and do other things that are more in their wheelhouse. So the good news is we're expanding ANCHOR this fall to include the Byward Market and Lower Town and Sandy Hill and other areas like that. So the impact that we saw in Centertown is now going to be felt in all these other areas as well. It's going to be a much larger area being served by this program, and I'm really excited to see that happen.
That's wonderful. And I read recently in the local paper that 377 O'Connor is going to be a very important building, as part of your goals as well around helping families that may find themselves homeless.
Yeah, this is a great opportunity. We purchased a hotel that wasn't being used anymore. It wasn't being used as a hotel, so it's a former hotel. We purchased it, and we're going to be able to provide, I can't remember the exact number, but it's a lot of supportive housing units that we will be able to provide. And supportive housing is one of the keys to ending homelessness. It is about having the right supports, the right resources in place to provide care to people who need it, so that they're not in the shelter system, they're not living on the street, but they're also not in a home where they don't have the help they need, right? So that support is critical, and we're going to be able to provide it there.
It's very, very good news. And I want to end on a bit of a fun note. Do you remember being in grade 5?
Well, not really, you know.
It's a long time ago.
It's a long time ago.
For both of us. Well, you got a chance to see some grade 5 students that were very happy that you showed up in their classroom.
Counselor Kathy Curry and I dropped in on St. Gabriel's School and met with some grade 5 students who have been, in grade 5, they study government, right? So they learn about federal, provincial, municipal government. They learn who the mayor is, what an MP is, what an MPP is, what a city councilor is, all of that. So they had some great questions. It was a lot of fun. They were very dialed in and focused and attentive. They asked us about some stuff that was happening right around the school, and then they asked us about some broader citywide things. So it was a really great conversation. It's always a lot of fun doing that, and it's great to see young people who are interested in government.
Maybe someday one of those students will be the mayor of Ottawa.
Yeah, absolutely.
But for right now, Mayor Mark Sutcliffe, thank you so much for joining us.
It's my pleasure. Thank you.
It's the Team Ottawa podcast with Mayor Mark Sutcliffe. I'm Sam LaPrade.